Are you leading a team of creative people? If so, you probably realized that a lot of the standard business processes just don't work quite the same way in a creative environment. Creative people need more freedom, flexibility, more encouragement to take risks, and so leadership is very different just because of the nature of the work. In this video, we'll be talking about how to effectively lead a creative team with some ideas and inspiration for you to invigorate your team towards greater innovation. If you're new here, my name is Kathy. This is Motivation Code. Motivation Code is an assessment that helps you better understand what motivates your team so that you could be a better leader. But first, let's talk about who is a creative worker. Well, obviously, we have designers and copywriters, advertisers, but in the software industry, creative thinking is a cornerstone of success. Engineering, entertainment and media, architecture, research and development, culinary arts and fashion all thrive with creative thinking. Now, you might not think that the security industry is full of creative workers, but some of the hackers that I've encountered throughout my tech career have been some of the most creative and playful people in the world. In fact, some of the earliest hackers around were doing phone phreaking. They could take a whistle out of the bottom of a Captain Crunch box, blow it into an analog phone, and it would make a perfect 2600 hertz tone, which gave these hackers free long distance. The initial hackers were people like Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, and many of the pioneers of the tech industry. Creative thinking really has a cornerstone in hacking, seeing what could be different, seeing how different applications could lead to different solutions. Hackers and creative people all think outside the box. Now, this presents some problems when we're working in large organizations that have procedures, policies, ways of doing things, rules. Creative thinking doesn't exactly thrive when there's a policy of this is the way we do things. Creative thinkers, much like hackers, want to work on the forefront of innovation. They want to try new things. This presents some challenges to leadership. Leadership wants predictability. They want to have some projections and they want to tell their team this is where we're going. And they want to see effective and fast action towards meeting those goals. However, sometimes creativity is not linear. It isn't direct. It involves exploration and experimentation, and it sometimes leads to failure. Leaders can sometimes get uncomfortable with this kind of environment, but the payoff of allowing your team to explore their creativity can be huge when it comes to innovation, when it comes to finding fulfillment. Many of the motivational dimensions thrive on innovation. You think about a visionary. A visionary sees what is possible and wants to work towards a new way of doing things. Putting a visionary in a rigid structure where they don't have any creativity can cause issues. So there's a huge payoff for leaders when they have a creative team if they can foster greater innovation and greater creativity for that team. So what can leaders do in order to encourage creativity and innovation on their team? Well, first of all, you have to give some freedom for teams to explore. Because creativity is nonlinear, because it requires experimentation, it may take a little bit longer to get to the end goals. You have to allow your creative people the ability to play with their ideas and develop them fully. Creativity often doesn't come out in quite the same way when there are rules and regulations and pressure that we need to perform. It can stifle innovation, it can stifle creative thinking, and people start putting more and more pressure on themselves to reach the goal because that's what leaders are telling them that they need to do. But if you're looking to foster greater innovation on your teams, play is often a key part of this. Allowing your teams to take some risks, to try new things, to break some rules, to see if some different behavior could have different results. Of course, you want to make sure your team is getting those base hits, but every once in a while, let them swing for the bleachers and see what happens. As long as it's done with some guardrails, this type of innovation and creative thinking can be helpful in fostering greater creativity on your team. You have to allow your people the freedom to fail. Let them mess things up and let them feel okay about themselves when they're messing things up. One story, we were doing a live stream and one of the people on the live stream had messed something up. The live stream wasn't going the way they had planned, but in so doing, in messing things up and allowing some failure to happen, some very serendipitous things happened that actually showed how the product worked in a better and more vibrant way. It actually demonstrated the product in a way that no one else could have predicted. Nobody could have scripted it, but because there was freedom for this individual to fail, they actually succeeded beyond our wildest dreams. Giving your team the ability to fail, to fall on their face, to do whatever it takes in order to experiment can have dramatically good results. And if somebody does fail and it doesn't quite go so well, just building them back up. They're probably harder on themselves than you ever could be. Building them back up and say, you gave it a shot and we could see what you were trying to do and we're so proud that you took that risk. And it didn't work out the way you wanted, but I bet you next time if you try something similar, who knows what could happen. But we're really proud that you took that risk. Making sure that you protect the downside while giving plenty of room for an upside can foster great innovation for your team. Now, if you as a leader or if other people on the team are not creative, it's good to explore the creative process with those who are creative. If you're leading a creative team, ask questions. You can ask them to walk you through what was inspiring to their decision to go in a certain way that was nothing that anyone could have predicted. As they explain their inspiration, you as a leader might find greater insight in how their mind works so that you can better lead them. And also how greater innovation can be brought to your clients, to your product team, to others in the organization. It's also good to ask for personal stories as to what people are feeling about the work that they've done. Ask them what's exciting to them about the particular products they're working on. If they're doing something unique and something that was a little off from the direction that you thought that they would go, it might be something that they're very excited about. These types of questions leave open-ended opportunities to better understand your team so you can be a better leader, so that you can foster greater creativity and innovation on your team. Also ask questions about what a team member might see as challenging about a particular project or a particular idea. No idea is ever perfect, and some things might have a downside. As long as they're exploring the downside and factoring those types of considerations in, if they're thinking about the realistic implementation of a creative idea, you help them become a well-rounded creative person. You are still running a business, and in so doing, you have to think about profitability. You have to think about pleasing customers, about having that product market fit. As long as your team is considering the market and considering the profitability of the business, let creativity roll. As a leader leading a creative team, it's very important for you to set clear goals. Creativity, being nonlinear, could go anywhere. As long as you keep your team focused on the purpose of the project, the customers you're trying to reach, the market you're trying to enter into, and the overall profitability of the business, and keep people grounded in the purpose of what we're doing this for, then their creativity can run, but with a few guardrails to ensure that they're still on focus with the purpose of the business. It's the leader's job to ensure that creativity can happen, but that we're still focused on what we're here to do. As well, it's very important for leaders to recognize and reward creativity. Understanding the motivational dimensions of the people you're leading is so incredibly important. If you have an achiever on your team, for example, example, achievers like to be told when they've knocked it out of the park. They want to be told when they've succeeded, that leadership and others are recognizing the fact that they indeed have achieved. So make sure you recognize and reward when creativity is happening, when creativity is paying off. Even if that creativity fails, as long as people are showing a commitment to the organizational's purpose and the vision of the organization, a commitment to customers and to the market, a commitment to profitability, if they're doing all of that, still recognize that they are on target, that they are focused where they need to be focused, recognize and reward the behaviors that you want to uphold as a part of your organization. Invest in continuous learning. Now, I believe, like many creative people do, that we are all creative, whether we are deeply technical or we are in the arts. There is a creative part of each and every one of us. By investing in your team so that they can find that inner creativity and express it, by understanding who they are and what actually motivates them, you can be a better leader and better spur that innovation and creativity that so many organizations crave. Understanding your team starts with understanding their motivational dimensions. If you have a relator on the team, they may be creative in forging new relationships within an organization or forging relationships with new customers. Understanding who they are can help you better cultivate creativity and innovation in each one of your team members. If you're leading a creative team, how lucky are you? Whether it is a technical team creating amazing software or your web development team creating amazing websites for your customers, there's creativity in every single person on your team. As a leader, it is your job to help each one of your team members find that creativity and express it in a way that best serves the organization and the team. If you want to bring motivation code into your organization so that you can better understand the motivations of each of your team members and how your team works together as a whole, there are links down below so you can learn more. Thanks for watching.